Hello students, welcome to aimsindia online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter combustion fuels and flame. So in this session we are going to see a practice sheet which is related to the chapter combustion fuels and flame. Okay, now we are going to see practice sheet 1 which includes conceptual understanding questions and a single character answer type questions. So first let us go through the conceptual understanding questions. See the first question. Combustion is a reaction in which a substance reacts with which gas a substance reacts in the process of combustion. Yes, the substance or fuel it reacts with oxygen gas present in the air and produces heat energy. That process is called combustion. The reaction or the reaction in which a chemical substance reacts with oxygen and produces heat energy in accompanying with light and sound sometimes. So that process is called combustion process. Oxidation of a chemical substance, to say simply, that process is called combustion. So in the combustion process, substances they react with oxygen to produce generally carbon dioxide and heat energy as the main products. Okay, a fuel may be. So what might be the state of a fuel? We have seen different kinds of fuels, isn't it? So their fuels may exist in any state of the matter. Some fuels are there in the liquid state, some are there in the solid state, and even some fuels they exist in the gaseous state. If you see the gaseous state fuels like LPG, CNG, these are fuels which are existing in the gaseous state, isn't it? Liquefied petroleum gas, compressed natural gas, these are gaseous fuels. And some fuels are there in the solid state like coal, coke, charcoal, wood. These all will come under solid fuels. And even some fuels they exist in the liquid state also. What are those? The fuels like petrol, diesel, kerosene. These are the fuels which are existing in the liquid state. So we can say now fuels may exist in any state. Three of these states. Okay, now it will be correct answer. All of these. Next one. Which fuel is used for running automobiles? Yes, for running of automobiles, generally which fuel is used among the given here? See what are the fuels mentioned? Wood, coal, charcoal and diesel. Which is a fuel generally used for running of automobiles? Yes, it is diesel. Diesel or petrol or CNG, these are being used nowadays for running of automobiles. So out of given here, diesel is the correct answer. Next one. Which one of the following is fuel of our body? Actually, what is meant by fuel? Fuel is a substance which undergoes oxidation process and releases heat out. That substance is said to be fuel. So out of these, which will act as fuel for our human body? That is food. The food which we have taken undergoes oxidation process through the respiration and releases heat energy out, which is used by the body for its metabolic works. Right? That's why we say food acts as fuel for body or body. Right? Next one. Combustion is. What kind of process is this combustion? We know in the combustion process, the chemical substances which we call as fuels, they undergo oxidation process and they release carbon dioxide gas and some other chemicals along with the heat energy liberation. So here, new chemical substances are being formed by the process of combustion. What we can say then? Yes, so we can say then combustion is a chemical process because there is a formation of new substances and those cannot be reversed into original position, original form. So we can say combustion is a chemical process. Okay. Next, the lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire is called its. What do you call this? The lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire is called ignition temperature. Below this ignition temperature, even though the substance is being fuel, it cannot catch fire. Initially, the fuel should be heated till it reaches its ignition temperature. After reaching that ignition temperature only, fuels will start catching fire and starts burning. That lowest temperature at which a substance starts catching fire is called ignition temperature of that substance. Okay. Now, which of the following has lower ignition temperature? Means we have to identify the substance which catches fire at lower temperatures itself. For that we can say the lower ignition temperature is being lower. Find out the substance from the given which catches fire easily at lower temperatures itself. See the first one, wood. It needs much time for starting burning of wood because its ignition temperature is very high. To reach the temperature, wood should be heated for a long time. And paper, of course, paper catches fire easily. And vegetable oil, it needs much high temperature to catch fire. And kerosene oil, it catches fire very easily even compared to paper also. So we can say kerosene oil is having lower ignition temperature among the given fuels here. Means it catches fire even at very low temperatures. Okay. Next one. In the presence of water, the ignition temperature of a paper. So for this, we have seen a simple activity in the earlier sessions. We take two paper cups. One is filled with water and one is kept empty. When we start burning these two paper cups by keeping on the tripod stands with a help of a Bunsen burner or candle, what did you observe there? The cup or paper cup without water catches fire easily and will be burnt immediately. Whereas the paper cup which is filled with water, it won't catch fire easily. Even though we continue heating, that won't catch fire because the given temperature in the form of flame is taken and absorbed by the water present in the paper cup. So by this, the ignition temperature of the paper increased. Even though it is continuously heated, it won't catch fire because its ignition temperature is increased. Till it reaches its ignition temperature, it won't catch fire. So because why it is increased means it has water. The temperature given or the heat given by the flame is completely transferred to the water present inside. So it won't reach its ignition temperature, it gradually increases. So from this we can say the presence of water in the presence of water, the ignition temperature of paper, it increases. It is increased. Okay. Next one. Which of the following is inflammable substances? Which of the following are inflammable substances? What is meant by inflammable substance? The substance which is having lowest ignition temperature and can catch fire very easily is called inflammable substance. Observe here among the given which can catch fire very easily and burns immediately: petrol, wood, paper and straw. Which can catch fire easily here? Among this, petrol. That's why we say we observe on the tankers which are carrying this petrol, it will be written inflammable material or inflammable substance, highly inflammable. These quotations we see on the vehicles which are carrying this petrol. Have you ever observed on the transport vehicles? Yes, we can see. Because that petrol present inside should be carried very carefully because its ignition temperature is very low. It may catch fire even at very low temperatures and it may cause explosions, fire accidents. So these substances like petrol, they have very low ignition temperature That is why they are called inflammable substances. Okay, next one. The substance which vaporize during burning gives. Generally, the substances which vaporize during burning, they produce flame. For example, candle wax. When you start burning a candle, the wax around the wick, first it melts into liquid state and then it starts converting into vapor form, and slowly flame will be given at the wick. So not only this wax, the fuels which vaporize while burning, they produce a flame. Okay, they produce flame. Next one. Which is the hottest part in the flame of a candle? Yes, the hottest part in the flame of a candle is innermost zone, outermost zone, because there the vapors of candle wax reacts completely with the available atmospheric oxygen and produces large amount of heat and carbon dioxide, water vapor as products. That is why the outermost zone of a candle flame is being hottest part, and there the vapors of candle burns with blue flame. Okay, the blue flame part of that candle is the hottest part. There the vapors of candle or wax are completely burned in the presence of oxygen, so producing large amount of heat compared to the remaining parts of the wax, that flame. Outermost zone contains blue colored flame. Okay, next, the innermost zone is the, actually three zones are there in the candle flame: outermost zone, middle zone, and innermost zone. Out of these, the vapors of wax will be completely burnt in the outermost zone. So we can say that is the hottest part of the flame. Whereas if you take the innermost zone, there is no sufficient supply of oxygen at the innermost zone. That is why there the vapors of wax won't be completely burnt. There it remains some particles of carbon. So we can say this is the least hot part in the flame of a candle. Least hot part. Innermost zone is least hot part, because there incomplete combustion goes on. As there is no proper supply of air for that, the complete air is burnt at the outermost zone itself. As there is no sufficient oxygen for the burning, there incomplete combustion is going on inside, and hence it will be somewhat least in hotness. Okay, next one. A good fuel is. So there are certain qualities for a good fuel. What are those? It should be readily available and should be cheap enough to buy, and it burns easily in the air, should catch fire easily, means its ignition temperature should be moderate, should catch fire easily and starts giving large amount of heat energy out. So these all are the characteristics of a good fuel. Now we can say these all are good fuels characters. Okay, next one. Which of the following is better domestic fuel? See here, certain fuels are mentioned here. Which will be the better domestic fuel among these? To be better domestic fuel, it should, while burning or combustion is going on, that should not leave any harmful chemicals out. That should not leave any residues after burning, and that should not be much dangerous too. See, which is the safest and better domestic fuel among these all? Is it petrol or LPG, wood or coal? Out of these all, LPG is the best domestic fuel, because it is stored in a small cylinder and it comes for long days, and even it won't leave any harmful and impure residues. Solid residue won't be remain there completely. It burns the presence of oxygen and releases large amount of heat energy, and at the same time it won't leave any residues. Just it releases carbon dioxide and water vapor as products. So that is why it is said to be as LPG is the best fuel to be used at homes. And even petrol also won't leave any residues back, but it won't burn at controlled manner. It may blast up. So it is a highly inflammable material. That's why it cannot be used at the homes, and it is existing in the liquid state. The preservation of petrol is not much safer in the domestic purpose. That's why LPG is the better domestic fuel among these all. Whereas if you see wood and coal, these were also used as fuels in the earlier days. But when they are burnt, they produce heat energy, of course, but they release some harmful smokes, carbon particles, soot. Along with them, they remain some ashes back. That's why these are not said to be good fuels. So, preferable one is LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, is a better domestic fuel. Next one. Now let us see single correct answer type questions. First one among these. Use of dash in vehicle reduces pollution. In the same way, just now we have seen the better fuel for domestic purposes. Here, for using vehicles also, there is one fuel which is producing less pollution. That is CNG. We call this as compressed natural gas. This is also just like the LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. It is compressed natural gas. Actually, it contains methane. When it is burnt, it produces large amount of heat energy. Along with that, no harmful residues are remained. Just it produces carbon dioxide and water vapor as the products. But when you compare this petrol and diesel, they may produce some unbound carbon particles out, and they release some harmful chemicals also into the atmosphere. So when compared to these, CNG is a most preferable fuel for running vehicles. Next one. During the process of combustion, dash is given out. What is combustion here? The burning of fuels in the brains of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water vapor along with the heat and light. So during the process of combustion, heat and light are produced. Both heat and light. Next one. The most common fire extinguisher is carbon dioxide, because this carbon dioxide can be used for extinguishing fire caused because of any material. Of course, water is also one of the fire extinguishers, but it cannot be used in all the cases, isn't it? So the best and common fire extinguisher is carbon dioxide. Next, an ideal fuel has dash calorific value. What is meant by here calorific value? The amount of heat energy released, the amount of energy released per kg of fuel is called as calorific value. The amount of energy released when 1 kg of fuel is completely burnt is called its calorific value. So to be an ideal fuel that should produce large amount of heat energy per kg means it should have high calorific value. An ideal fuel should have high calorific value, means it should produce large amount of heat energy when it is burned. Then only it is said to be an ideal fuel. Next one. The calorific value is measured in. We told here calorific value means the amount of heat energy released per kg of fuel when completely burnt. So we know energy is measured in terms of generally kilojoules. So we are telling this as a amount of energy released per kg. Now what will be the units for this? Kilojoules per kg. These are the units of calorific value. Next one. Unburnt carbon particles causes. What do we face problem with these unburnt carbon particles when fuels are burned in an insufficient amount of oxygen? Yes, we feel respiratory problems. We face respiratory problems with these unbound carbon particles. Okay. Next one. Incomplete combustion gives. Yes, when a fuel is completely burned in the presence of excess amount of oxygen or sufficient amount of oxygen, that completely burns and produces carbon dioxide gas as a product. But if there is no sufficient amount of oxygen or there is insufficient amount of oxygen, then that fuel undergoes incomplete combustion and it releases carbon monoxide gas as the product instead of carbon dioxide. So this carbon monoxide is one of the dangerous gases. It is a poisonous gas actually. Okay, incomplete combustion of fuels release carbon monoxide. That is why when it is occurring a burning or a combustion, there should be proper supply of oxygen for that. Then only complete combustion undergoes and it releases carbon dioxide gas. Otherwise, it may produce carbon monoxide gas, which is poisonous. Okay, next, goldsmith uses dash part of the flame for melting gold. So to melt gold, it should be heated to very high temperature. So in your flame, the hottest part is the outermost part. So goldsmith generally they use outermost part of the flame for melting gold to rejoin them or to bend them into different shapes. So outermost part of the flame will be generally having the highest temperature that is used. So goldsmith they use outermost part of the flame. Next one, element showing spontaneous combustion. Yes, we discussed certain chemicals. They undergo combustion in their own instead of without any outer applications. They catch fire themselves when they expose it to atmospheric air. Those substances that process is called spontaneous combustion. For example, sodium, potassium, phosphorus. These elements, when they kept in the atmospheric air, within few minutes they catch fire. Means they start reacting with the atmospheric oxygen without any outer application. They catch fire immediately. That process is called spontaneous combustion. So one of the elements is mentioned here, phosphorus. Generally we say it is a white phosphorus. If white phosphorus is kept outside in the atmospheric air, it starts catching fire and it burns itself own in own. That is why white phosphorus is always stored under water. It won't be kept outside. Whenever it is needed, it will be taken out. Some quantity of the phosphorus will be utilized for the work, and the remaining will be stored again in under water. Otherwise, it may catch fire easily. And some other elements we discussed there are sodium and potassium. Those elements are preserved under kerosene because they also will react with atmospheric oxygen if they kept out in the open place, and even they react with the water also. That's why they will be stored under kerosene, whereas white phosphorus is stored under water because they undergo spontaneous combustion. Right? Next one, the best fire extinguisher for the inflammable materials is, so the best fire extinguisher is carbon dioxide. For any kind of material, we can use this carbon dioxide foam for controlling fire because it will form a blanket like appearance on the fire causing material and it controls the supply of oxygen to the combustible material and hence fire will be put off. So the best fire extinguisher among these all is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is stored as a liquid in cylinders. Those we call as fire extinguisher cylinders. In those, carbon dioxide is stored under very high pressure. When it is applied at high pressure, large quantity of carbon dioxide can be stored in small cylinder. So, when it is applied high pressure, carbon dioxide can be stored in cylinders. So that can be used for extinguishing fire. When the nozzle of that cylinder is pressed, carbon dioxide comes out in the form of foam and is spread on the fire causing material like a blanket. It cuts the supply of oxygen thus. Okay, so this carbon dioxide is stored in the cylinders at very high pressure. Next one, which of the following substances can be used to extinguish a fire in oil well? Even here also, oil wells, electrical equipment, fire accidents, These all fire can be extinguished by using carbon dioxide only, because in those cases water cannot be used. If water is poured on the oil, we know water is denser than oil. Then oil will float on the water and continues to burn. There is no use of pouring water on those. If it is electrical equipment fire accident, if you pour water on that, the person who are trying to stop the fire there, they may catch fire because normal water is good conductor of electricity. So in those all cases, carbon dioxide will act as the best fire extinguisher. Okay, next one. 4.12 kg of a fuel was burned to produce 1,78,000 kg of energy, kilojoules of energy. Sorry. The calorific value of that fuel is, so what they have given here, the total energy produced by the combustion of fuel is given as 1,78,000 kilojoules, and total mass of the fuel is mentioned as 4.12 kilograms. Now we know calorific value means the amount of heat energy or the amount of energy released by 1 kg of a fuel on complete combustion is called its calorific value. Now we can calculate here the calorific value by using the formula total energy produced by the total weight of the fuel or total mass of the fuel taken. What is the total energy produced here? 1,78,000 kilojoules. And total mass of the fuel taken 4.12 kilograms. So by doing the calculation, we get it as 4.3203 into 10 to the power of 4 kilojoules per gram. So this is the energy released when 1 kg of fuel is burnt completely. Now this is called calorific value of that fuel. Where it is here. This is a correct answer. This is called calorific value. The amount of energy released by the combustion of 1 kg of fuel completely is called its calorific value. Okay. This is a practice sheet 1. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel Aims Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos.